that was a cool piece of history to be a part of nonetheless. But one thing I do want to say about what you said about Shiny Suit or all the different styles of
Mhm.
hip hop
Mhm.
is to understand that being from Toronto or being from Canada, and you mentioned Monolith and just being part of that crew, we were in a position where hip hop had not become so universally mainstream and so universally accepted that you could become a rapper and assume that it would be some sort of claim to fame or riches. Hip hop wasn't like that. Today it's different. I think a lot of youth get into hip hop because it's like, yo, I see superstars. I see rich people doing this. Maybe this is this is my way to make millions also. We also have the ability to say that someone from Toronto, more than one actually now,
Mhm.
is making millions making music in the world of hip hop and other forms of urban music. So when you have the Drakes and the Weekends and the people like that repping for the city, there's a different reason to even start a career. We didn't have that reason back then, bro. Our reason was just, it's like I said in the song Can't Test Me. I just wanted to be the best rapper anyone had ever heard. That was my
Yeah.
whole purpose in life at the time. So when you come into it with a different purpose, you rhyme different, your concepts are different, your flow, your whole aura, everything about your why you do it dictates the type of music you make, and how it's going to sound by comparison of the artists who at the time, you mentioned Puffy and Biggie, at the time in those the early to mid 90s, that's when hip hop really started. Like, wow, we're seeing it become mainstream. We're seeing a lot more, like platinum
Yeah.
selling records and Grammy wins. And it's like, whoa, like people were paying attention to hip hop in ways they weren't previous to that.
Mhm.
I remember the era of not even seeing hip hop videos on television. Okay, back when there was much music. I remember the era before Rap City existed.
Oh,
And now
wow.
these things are things of the past. But at the time, I remember going to stores and there was no hip hop section. If you wanted to find a rap album, you'd look in R&B. So
Oh, wow.
literally, we came into it when hip hop was just becoming, a legitimately recognized musical genre that would get its own space on television, radio. If you remember, in Canada, we didn't have any urban radio stations. We would fight. We
No.
were fighting for an urban radio station.
What was big back then? College radio? Was that where you would get your stuff out?
College radio, that was it. Absolutely. We got shown love on CKLN 88.1, which was Ryerson's radio station. Shouts to people like DJ X, who ran a show
Yeah.
called The Power Move. Shouts to Ron Nelson, who was even, who pretty much originated all that stuff. Without that, we really didn't have anywhere to showcase our music in any kind of broadcast form. So yeah, it was all college radio, and slowly but surely, with hip hop growing and becoming bigger than what it was, of course, we were fortunate enough to be able to get ourselves on the Much Musics and the
Yeah.
Rap Cities that would showcase our music videos. And without grant money, we would have never shot music videos. So
Yep.
there was interesting new opportunities for us at the time, but we were nowhere near rich like
Mhm.
the other artists from the States who were showing and proving that you could become rich as a hip hop artist. It was a very interesting time to start a career.
That makes sense about grant money because so like the government was giving money for artists to make their names known and get out there.
Yeah, a lot of Canadian artists would get grant money through, and this organization still exists, Factor, or at the time there was Video Fact, and these were sort of government-run arts. I guess I'll call them arts programs that essentially offered grants to artists to help further their art. And yeah, so Video Fact, for example, we applied like crazy. We didn't always get the grants, but we did for a few songs. And of course, Dear Hip Hop was my first. So
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I have to credit Video Fact, and I have to credit Much Music and people like, Master T, Michael
Yeah.
Williams, Namageni Kiwanuka. These are people who actually helped me get on television, and my video would be played, it would be seen nationally, and then I would get on, I would do, I would host, or I would be interviewed, even perform. It was an amazing avenue for us to get on, and I credit it to this day for it helping me to be recognized by anyone, because I don't know how
Mhm.
my career would have launched without Much Music or videos being played and interviews being done that would essentially put us on almost equal footing. as any other artist that you saw on Much Music. You could literally watch, $1 million video by a big time artist, and then a Video Fact video by a Canadian artist. And it was amazing to sort of be given that platform side by side with those artists. I'll
Absolutely.
never forget when Dear Hip Hop debuted on Rap City, it followed a Shaquille O'Neal video, So,
Shaquille O'Neal had some great songs back in the day too.
and it's just funny because yeah, well, that's the point, right? It's
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
recognized as like a all-time hip hop great, but Shaq is Shaq. And so
Yeah.
if Shaq's on TV and the next video's you, it's special, you know? And so that's what it was to be an artist in Canada in the mid 90s. If you were fortunate enough to be, working your music well enough to get grants and stuff.